Today I'm going to show you the difference between epoxy paste and epoxy sculpt, how you might think about using them differently, how it'll apply to you once I just show you a couple basic techniques with the product. So we're going to start off with this already mixed up epoxy sculpt. I'm just going to take a wad of this. And this is just some basic white foam. There's nothing special about it. But you're going to notice the difference right away when I use the foam. So see how it wants to lift up. Epoxy sculpt it's good for this. It does work. It will adhere to this. It's pretty miserable to really get in here, and it wants to pull up a lot. See that? I got to keep going back over. But it will work. Put this on the edge. Okay, so that's my quick little demo of that. We can do this much quicker and coat a surface much quicker using epoxy paste. So here we go with this. This is mixed up already, your A and B. You're mixing it equally, just like epoxy sculpt, except it's going to be in a little cup just like this. Okay? And I just use a popsicle stick because it's kind of like your best friend for this. And I'm going to show you how nice this is to work with. Whoa, look at that. No fighting. Didn't have to fight it. And I'm smoothing it right over the top. Just popsicle sticks. And look how smooth it's getting. I'm even going to go down on the edge of this a little bit. And it really pretty stays where I put it. And it's all chunky, and that's okay. I'm going to show you another trick here in a minute, how to really smooth that out. I'm going to use a little bit more, I think. So you get a good idea of how this product will self-level by itself just a little bit, which is nice. But I want it to go over there. No fighting with it. Nice, even surfaces. Nice and glossy. Here's that sculpt still. And now I'm going to show you a third product here. It's called Aves Safety Solvent. This stuff works so fantastic for smoothing stuff out, but it really helps with the epoxy paste because it's so sticky. And I'm going to show you the difference. I'm going to grab some water. I'll be right back. Here's a glass, just plain regular water, because everyone wants to know, how does this safety solvent work? So I'm going to use the water first. And I'm going to just take some on my finger. And I'm going to try to show you the best I can. It's kind of milky. It's getting real milky right here. It's kind of, I'm really going to work this in here. I want this to be a fair comparison for everybody out there. So you can see that water does work. It doesn't not work. And I got this epoxy sculpt pretty smooth. It is pretty milky though. I'm going to show you that in a second. So it did work over the foam. Okay? So that's that one. I'm going to show you how the water behaves on paste now. Just a little bit. See how milky that gets? Gets really milky, but it does work. It doesn't not. My finger's sticking a lot to this. I'm kind of scraping it off. It doesn't want to really go where I want it to go. So that's how you'd use that. Again, gloved hands are very helpful in this situation because it's very sticky. So now I'm going to use the safety solvent, and I'm going to show you the difference here. Here you go. I just put a little on there. You notice how when I do this, the surface is not milky like it was with the water. That's going to help a lot with the drag on your tools, and it's going to help really get this in and give you a nice seamless transition with this. This will also save you a lot of time later. Oh, see, I put paste on there now. I'm messing my own video up here. This solvent will help a lot with sanding later on. I won't have nearly as much sanding to do because I'll be able to get it really even really quickly and be able to clean up my tools with it when I'm all done. See, that sculpt is just pulling right up off the foam. It'll work if I keep pressing it down, but this is where this comes in. There we go. And so I'm going to show you then where the safety solvent works really great. Just a couple drops. I'll use my other hand here so you can see it just glides over the top of this. It's still running down from the water. You can see how milky that made that. And it just kind of cleans right off there. Look how nice that is with the drag. And it does that with your tools too. So you can put it on your gloved hand. It just really works it in there really nicely. Give you a great seamless transition. And same with on the side here. You can see how the paste still is kind of self-leveling. It's not really dripping or going anywhere. The sculpt is staying still. So if that's what you want, then that's the product for this type of application for you. But if it's not, and you want to be able to just kind of press something and coat something really quick and easy, and this is great, having the paste to do that. So I find myself using it a lot underneath Apoxie Sculpt to just make a quick hard coat, and then I can go right over top of this once this cures with the Apoxie Sculpt and just build right onto it. It just creates a nice, hard, durable surface underneath. And even if this, comes up a little bit, that's okay. It'll self-level out. It'll be very, very glossy, just like the rest of this stuff. And so there you go. There's my little demonstration with that. So I can put this on other things too. I have a couple pieces of wood here. And so I'll just kind of show you how this might work. Again, with the Apoxie Sculpt. And this epoxy paste is going to be great for filling in these pinholes also if you want to do it really quickly. So I'll just fill this one with the Sculpt. You can work it in there. I'm using green just so you can kind of see how easy it is to fill and fill the holes on anything, and how you might just smooth it out over the edge. You can texture this, you can do whatever you want, whatever kind of surface finish that you like. Mica powders are great. Stamping is fantastic. Again, I'm going to use a safety solvent because I want to show you how to smooth this out really quickly. This is a very low odor solvent. It doesn't stink. I'm using this in my kitchen right now. You can see how nice and smooth I'm getting this. But no matter how much I smooth this on the edge, I still have a little ridge here, and I'm going to want to sand that off if that's what the effect I'm going for is. So it's still pretty fast. This worked and stuck really well to the wood. That was a good surface for it. And now here's that mixed up epoxy paste. Here's the paste again. And I'm going to show you how quickly you can fill holes. So I just start, there's quite a few holes in this piece. You just kind of dab it into the holes. This is really great for any kind of resin hole filling you might need to do. The epoxy paste likes to kind of float on top a little bit, so that's why I'm kind of babysitting it down a little bit here. Okay, so I'm going to take this and I'm going to show you how easy it is to smooth this. There it goes. Super, super smooth. Super easy to do. And it doesn't really matter that it's sticky because you've got gloves on it. Okay, and again, here's the safety solvent. This is what it's for. Couple drips, and look how smooth and refined that edge is. There will be no sanding on this at all. I just don't need it because it's going exactly where I want. Look how thin you can get that, and how nice of a line you can make with that. And that solvent just really lets your finger glide over top of it, or your tool, whatever you have. It also will help if you've got stamps and you're going to make a stamp impression in something. If you're going to make an impression in the paste, I like it to sit for probably 2 hours before I really start trying to stamp into it, depending on how hot it is when you mix it up. Just kind of babysit it a little bit. You'll know when you can put some textures into it. It's a very neat product once you start working with it. So anyhow, look how quick that was. and how smooth that is right on the wood. So for a real easy seam fill, seamless transition, it's not going to go anywhere. I could leave it hang like this. It's pretty good. If you got a big blob on it, that, you know, it would run like molasses eventually if I had a big blob hanging off here. But just for a thin application, this is great in molds. Oh, anything flexible it'll work with really, really well. And give you a little bit of gripping flexibility too. Like I could put it on this silicone piece and I could actually flex it a little bit when it's all cured. It will pop off, but it does flex kind of with that, so that's kind of nice. What else can I show you with this? This has a lot of different stages of setup, which I really love about the product. Right now it's really goopy, but if you wait, you know, 45 minutes or an hour, I can actually grab this and start manipulating it and roll it in my hands, just like with Apoxie Sculpt. It's never going to be as firm as Apoxie Sculpt unless it's right before it sets up, but you can still really shape it and kind of just pick up a ball of it then and put it right where you want it to go, and it will essentially kind of melt right into your project on what you're trying to do. So that's always a nice tip and nice type of application for it also. So I hope you learned something from this video, and I hope you pick up some epoxy paste because it's really cool stuff and you'll find tons of uses for it, just like I do and everybody else. There's some, you can put it over mache too if you just want like a light coating on your mache. This is our Aves paper mache, but you can use it with any kind of mache just to make a real quick blob coating on this. And again, you don't have to use the safety solvent. You can use water. Maybe we should use water on this just to show you the difference. Really have a good comparison. So I'm just spreading water on it, and it works all right. You see how quickly I can coat that. It's really sticking to my fingers, but that's okay. This is just for sake of show right now. So you see how quickly that covered that. If I was using Apoxie Sculpt, and I have another piece here, I'll show you how fast that is. Mind I have paste all over my fingers. This is going to take a lot longer because I have to work it into the surface. Not too much longer. I really have to push it where I want it to go. And that's okay if you want more of a controlled surface thing. So I could build onto either one of these now with each other. These products are designed to work with each other or other epoxies. You could use a different brand of epoxy and use the paste over top of that if you wanted to, or in conjunction with it. There's no problems with that. So here's that one. So on more of a vertical surface, the Sculpt would be better for that, but just quick coating something like that. So there you have it, epoxy paste and epoxy Sculpt, both by Aves.